our last topic of the show, guys, is going to be about two of what I believe are the fiercest competitors in all of Call of Duty. Now, guys, there's a lot of course, competitors in COD, right? I personally believe that Call of Duty is the home of some of the biggest personalities in all of esports, and I don't even think it's even close at this point. I mean, if you really think about it, you could argue Fortnite, but really Fortnite esports, it just really is Fortnite really still an esport at this point? It's kind of hard to say. Obviously, if you were to compare those, you would say that the Fortnite guys obviously have blown up much more substantially than that of the Call of Duty guys. But at the same time, you look at really any other esport, traditional esport out there, Call of Duty content creators and pro players are much bigger, very good at marketing themselves. And two of those guys, who I believe are the fiercest competitors on COD, is Scumpy and Crimsix. C6 and Scump, the two fiercest competitors in Call of Duty, in my personal opinion, guys. And these guys got a lot of history. Obviously, they played together for a number of years. And they've also had a number of years where they've been on different teams. Had a lot of success. Crimsix, the winningest player at this point in Call of Duty history. Scumpy has, won, of course, his fair share of tournaments and championships. These two guys are on a mission. They're on a collision course, in my opinion, to an extent. The narratives were built, and that's why I absolutely love the CDL. I love what they've done with the CDL at this point. A league in which, I mean, we're talking, city-based teams where it's starting to really feel like sports. It's starting to feel like a sport. And everyone's picking their favorite team. And obviously, there's a lot of narratives here because with Crimsix not being a part of the Huntsman and going to the Dallas Empire, and then the things that he said about it and how he's coming for the Huntsman and the Huntsman kind of trolling him back, and it's just been this back and forth ordeal. And obviously at this point, the Huntsman really overall have been dominant when it comes to the matchup between them and the Dallas Empire. The gap is closing. It's getting closer and closer every time that they play. But with that said, I think that this is a year where it's becoming a prove it year. Crimsix says that, he's coming. He's smelling blood, essentially, when it comes to the Huntsman and kind of the things that happened to him when he was in Optic and then being pushed out of, being a part of the next team, the next iteration of Optic, which was, of course, the Huntsman. Prove it. Prove that you're that guy still, winningest COD player, in history. Prove that you're still that guy. And obviously, guys, look, when I look at what you got to win the big one. You don't, winning a weekend home series means nothing. What does mean something is winning the championship at the end of the year. That's what means something, at least in my eyes. Now, some people say, oh, well, if we win all these tournaments, we don't win COD champs, at least we won all these other tournaments. No, the big one in Call of Duty was champs, okay? Now, obviously, the format's changed, but you better, during the regular season, you better, obviously those games matter, but you better really be building up to the big one, which is at the end of the year. And that's what I think the Empire are doing. They are building towards the big one at the end. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish in Call of Duty, as it is with many sports, right? And so these two guys are on that collision course. Now, obviously, Atlanta FaZe is there, and there's other teams that are there too. There's teams that are trying to make some splash moves that are, are trying to, obviously that are getting better, right? Optic and other teams. Scumpy, though, is on another prove it year as well. Can he prove that he shouldn't be retired at this point? I think that he's playing very well this year, in my opinion. But he's got to prove that he is still that guy who can win a championship at the highest level. And he's got to prove that he's not just like that he's going to get carried by other people. Now, obviously, I think that he's kind of at a point in his career where he's going to get carried a little bit. And I think Crimsix, the same kind of thing, because they're just getting older. And the older you get, obviously your reaction time goes down and things of that nature. So those things are all natural things that end up happening. But it's a prove it year, man, for these two players in particular. Because I think one of the biggest narratives is Dallas Empire versus the Chicago Huntsmen. I really do believe that. Now, you're going to have to get past FaZe. We all know that being a daunting task for anyone. You're going to have to get past Optic. That's going to be tough. Getting past any of these teams can win on any given day. We've seen it. We've seen that happen. A team like the Paris Legion, everyone didn't think that they were going to be that good. They're pretty good. I mean, they have the potential to win. Why not? Look, it's going to come down to narratives. Because I think the way in which this season ends, we might see Scump and Crimsix, or one of them, both of them, retire. Potentially. We have to enjoy these moments, guys, that we've got these guys in the game still. They're both incredibly competitive. The fiercest competitors, in my opinion, Call of Duty. You could argue Clayster, Aches. You could argue some of these other guys, the up-and-comers. But these two have been consistent for so long, so good for so long. The narratives are built around these two teams. Who do you guys got? Do you got Scump or do you got Crimsix? Who do you have individually? Who do you have team-wise? Let me know what you guys think. I would love to have a real conversation about it because, man, the narratives are continuing to build as we go.